Hi guys, Athena's here, and I'm glad to see you again. Hopefully you looked at my last video on being a paramedic with essential oils. We're going into some interesting times, but I wanted to give you more techniques for daily practices to kind of help you navigate these times. And one technique that is very easy for everybody is herbal tea. And before you poo-poo it off, I think a lot of you know that if you just sip some herbal tea, you kind of feel better, you're relaxed. If a friend offers you a cup of tea, if you used to go to tea places and all of that, you know that it's kind of a relaxing experience. So we're going to get a little more into herbal tea and the depth of what you can do with herbal tea, and maybe a little more than what you bought at the grocery store, but that is just fine if that's what you have. I don't want to dismiss anything that you have in your home and that you have access to. Always just use that. Don't ever feel like that's not good enough. It is always good enough, and your intentions with that empower that even much more than you ever had any idea. And we're going to kind of go over that. So the next weeks that are coming up, we're going to be in our headspace a lot, trying to figure things out. And the thing that's interesting about staying in your headspace rather than your heart space or somewhere else is that your headspace leaves it for interpretation. Our headspace is filled with distortion and programming and what we were taught. And so it is maybe not always the best place to go to when we're kind of shoved into, I've got to figure this out. If I don't figure this out, I won't survive. I won't do well. I won't be able to manage to get to the next level of life that I want. And so I just wanted you to know that this is only one part of the equation, is your headspace. And my suggestion coming up is to maybe not reside there as much as you would like to figure things out, because I'm not sure you're going to be able to figure it out. So the interesting thing about headspace versus when we think of mind, body, spirit complex, you hear this in wellness all the time. And I don't know what that really means unless it's explained to me, and it's more than just yoga and things like that, is that I have a certain amount of technology that I came in with. If I'm an avatar and I came into this place and they gave me this amazing technology, but all I do is live in this headspace, I'm not sure, if we're going to be able to work things out just using one part of the technology. This headspace, though, I don't want to dismiss it. If you were to look at a road full of traffic, not to walk out in the middle of traffic, probably going to get hit. That's your headspace. And that it's really was always meant for that to be good, for you to discern, to keep yourself alive. We teach our children, look both ways before you cross the street so that you don't get hit. That's the extent of where that head space lives. That's like smaller brain stuff. And that's just to keep your avatar alive while you're here navigating this very sophisticated video game that we're in. So if you'd like to know more, we have power centers throughout the body. They're called chakras. And you'll see that all the time. I'm aligning my chakras. I want to live out of my heart chakra or whatever. So this is kind of a good thing to align with, because this is the technology that you were given, and this was just to keep you alive in like lower root chakra kind of space. Like, I'm alive. I didn't get hit by a car. I have a roof over my head. This kind of thing. So it's not really going to get you into any higher spaces. But if we start to look at the technology that was given to us to operate out of, which nobody really talks about, kind of keeps the other part of the picture away from you. So let's kind of delve into that a little bit. This other part of the picture for you to deal with these power centers that start at the root, the navel, the solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and then your crown, okay? All the way up to divinity. So if you weren't aware of that before, I do encourage you to look more into the chakras and what they represent and those power centers. If you're already kind of clear on maybe that's where you reside and you're trying to line that up, herbal tea is actually a good way to do it. And also herbs and plants are here because they reside with our avatar clearly in a high vibration. It's what we were meant to come here to participate in. And anything that is synthetic is created in some other space, and it's probably not in alignment with who you really are. But we give it a try anyway. I have given all kinds of mental health medication a try over the years, only to come back to what I resonate with, what is going to help these little areas that are in pain from our experience. And that's more herbal, plant-based, essential oil. All of that stuff is definitely from this planet that you reside on. So go back to some other videos and that will explain it better for you, that you are really more of a light being that's in an avatar that's maneuvering through almost like a video game. I mean a very sophisticated video game too, not the ones you play at home. This is on a whole nother quantum level. So something that might ease pain and might help us a little bit are herbal teas. So I just want to let you know that in the past, and I was a counselor in the 80s and 90s, we were taught that your thoughts drive all of your emotions, and your emotions then, if they're negative, produce illness and other problems. Very true. Very true. But I just want to let you know that was like half of the picture. You weren't given the whole picture. That's half of the picture. And yes, your brain will drive all of that down into the body for you to express in a certain way, for you to have illness, for you to not do well. And so you do need to get a spinning mind under control. Like I said, essential oils, certain things to get that under control quickly. But as we move forward, the thing that we were never taught that now is becoming very clear for counselors and practitioners is these power centers in the body, the technology that you were born here with, also will send a message to the brain. We always thought it was a one-sided deal. That's a two-sided deal. So if you're not doing well, these power centers, broken heart, right? Can't figure it out, right? I can't speak up, right? I'm in a lot of pain here. We'll start to speak to the brain, and it actually goes up the opposite way. So when we're dealing with anxiety, agitation, and problems, maybe coping, you might want to look at your power centers. If you can't figure it out here, and I'm telling you in the next few weeks, it's going to be a difficult thing to navigate to just reside here, you might want to look at these other technological gifts that you were given and nobody tells you about it. So I'm going to tell you about that now. So to sort of reduce the anxiety in this technology that you were given, that you want to keep it kind of lined up and strong during this time, we have great herbal formulas. And because we live on this planet, that's what really works for us. We've been kind of misled to think that other synthetic things work better. This is your best line of defense. And so there are 3 in particular that I want to talk about during this time to just help you relax. And you can get into further technologies with that. If you're a practitioner and this kind of bores you, just doing a tea. But a tea and decoction is the easiest way to kind of do this quickly. And so the 3 that I want to kind of talk to you about are chamomile is my first go-to because everybody's familiar with chamomile and it tastes good, and to make a tea out of it, it's like everybody's familiar. You can do a chamomile tea, but this really does have a lot of active stuff for this technology on this planet and who you really are. And it really does kind of sedate you a little bit. It helps with pain. We think of physical pain too, helps with emotional pain, and it tastes good. So whatever formula you add for your tea, I always suggest a little bit of chamomile because it just simply is sweeter. That flower is sweeter and it tastes good. The other thing that I want to deal with is skullcap. Oh my gosh. So skullcap, I don't know if you've heard much about that, but it definitely helps you. It's a natural tranquilizer. So it definitely helps you calm down, soothes the nervous system. And because we can't just deal out of our brain right now, our nervous system might feel afraid, like, I can't figure this out. So you want to deal with now these power centers that also are intelligent, talking to the brain. So let's work out of these. And skullcap is excellent. I put it in a lot of formulas. It will actually help you if you are getting off of other medications, alcohol, or other heavy drugs. It also will help alleviate those symptoms. So skullcap is a go-to for sure. It's also, like I said, natural tranquilizer. Let's see what else we have about, yeah, and it helps insomnia too. That's on my notes too. They all help with insomnia. I mean, definitely if you're dealing with chamomile, that helps with insomnia. If you were to mix the 2 in a tea, okay, now we're getting more powerful, definitely more powerful. Something that people may not work with a lot is passion flower. Passion flower is a little more woody, no problem. I'll have some in here. And if you're making a tea, just a tea, and you're not gonna do a deep decoction, and you're not gonna do a tincture out of it, I like to smash it up and let the essence come out with a little mortar and pestle and put that in this blend too. Let that steep. Otherwise, passion flower, it falls under more of a decoction that you need to steep it longer, maybe like an hour, let it cool to get the full potential out of that. But if you mash it up a little bit and add it to these 2, you're gonna get the benefit in a tea. And so, and when I say brew a tea in a tea bag, a tea ball, a teapot, right? A little bit of tea, and it goes a long way too. I mean, we don't need a lot of these ingredients to make a pot of tea and sit with a friend or family and calm down, right? So these 3 things, I mean, you can't beat it. So if you want to get to more, I guess, advanced, then we get into tincture. If you'd like classes on tinctures, I teach those. But you will probably need to extract with an alcohol. I like to use brandy or vodka to extract. okay? And then make a tincture. If you are against alcohol, it's just against your thinking and your programming, distortions, and everything that won't let you have it, that's fine. You can also use glycerin. It just takes longer to do the extraction. But once you have an extraction like this, a few drops under the tongue of something like this also works very quick, even quicker than a tea. That's a little more advanced. If you want to know more about that, we'll be doing some classes on that to help you make your own medicine cabinet up. You know, I want to empower you to make your own medicine cabinet, for you to not be reliant on systems that are outside of you, that could fail you, that don't give you the whole story. They gave you the whole story that, oh, your mind drives all of your illness, and it does, quite frankly. It's very powerful that way. But what they didn't tell you is that if you would have taken care of this instrument in the first place, we wouldn't have gotten here. We wouldn't have gotten to this place. We wouldn't have gotten to a place that now we have to like move backwards into old technology, into old thinking, into actually real thinking, to kind of level ourselves out. You know, if I can make anything up for you, a tincture or anything, you let me know. I'll do it for you. I'll have classes available this spring. You can learn to make your own. But I really feel like if you did your own decoction, your own tea this way, you could really mellow out. And without medications, like I said, I had tried a lot of those medications only to come back to old stuff that's here on the planet. It was always meant for you to have. Let's use it. Let's work with it, and let's help somebody else out. If somebody else is not doing well, you can certainly just make them a cup of tea. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a friend's house and a good cup of tea and a little bit of conversation, and I walked out of there feeling like $1,000,000. We've gotten really far away from that kind of behavior, and I suggest that we might want to go back to it. And in the meantime, you can just help your immediate area. It's also part of being a bit of a paramedic. And I just know that you guys are just so great with this. You already know how to do this. Maybe just a little bit of a reminder. And if you want to get into advanced stuff, we're going to have some classes for you on my website, athenas-body.com. And this spring, if you want to participate in a class, we'll make that available so that you can make stuff that these have the potential to have 7 to 10 years of shelf life. And so I really like the idea of having this in a medicine cabinet, like a first aid kit kind of thing. Tea, you brew it, you better drink it. It's not going to stick around, but that's really great too if you just want to sit with family or a friend or something and relax. And I know we can get through this. I know the more tools that we have, the better we are. And I want you to keep thinking of yourself as an instrument, as an avatar with these power centers. The only way to navigate this is to check in with the power. If your power center is unhappy, it's going to tell your brain, and that just makes your brain spin more. So we were only told everything was activated here. It is not. It's activated through this whole being. I want you to have this information and take a look into it deeper. And in the meantime, hopefully, for daily practices, we've come up with some things that will just help you make it through. Stay out of your head. You can't figure out things there. Stay in your heart, heal your solar plexus, and so on. And that's what we're going to do right now. Let me know if I can help you. Write to me at athenas-body.com. Go to my website. I always have sessions for biofeedback, sound therapy, and different things to help you. But these are like quick things that if everything was taken away and you had a little bit of tea in your house or whatever, you had essential oils in your house, you are a practitioner. You can be helpful. Don't ever feel like the power's been taken from you. You are the power, and these are some tools to use with your power. I can't wait to see you till next time. We're gonna do some more on this. I love you. God bless. We're all gonna take care of each other. I know we will. I'll see you next time.